I called it the progress sabotage cycle. And we have this, I do this all the time too, especially reward. The pattern with everybody is super familiar and practically predictable in most guys. You'll see them do this one way or another. For example, one is like you'll work out consistently for 3 weeks, right? Then you reward yourself with a weekend of junk food, or you'll skip a gym session, something like that, right? Or you'll save money for 2 whole months, then you'll blow it on something expensive because you think you, quote, deserve it. It's this deserving shit, right? So you'll build a solid morning routine, but then you'll dick around on the weekend or something. You'll stay up late scrolling on your phone because you earned some time to relax. It's a very stupid way of, how could I explain this? We're almost creating kind of like an economy in our minds where we build up enough of this currency of doing good and then we get to spend it on being bad. And it's the wrong way to
Yep.
think about this shit. Yep. So then you have because the logic, look, it feels sound, right? Just a small break, just a weekend, just this once, just a little bit, right? A little reward for all the hard work. But somehow, just this once, that shit always turns into a like falling back into the same patterns that you spent weeks or months breaking out of. Within days, you'll find yourself deeper in a hole than when you start, always, practically. And then you'll wonder how you managed to do it again. How did I screw myself over again? And the most like frustrating part about this entire thing, it's not the actual setback itself. It's using the progress as a justification to abandon the very things that created the progress in the first place. That shit's infuriating when you look back on it. And then the cycle is like so common. You might as well call this a human condition, honestly. And all people, you see this. So, the building momentum, doing good for yourself, you start to feel better. You get all these results, right? Get positive feedback. Then instead of continuing what works, you use the good feelings as permission, in a sense, to go back to what wasn't working, right? It's like celebrating a successful diet by eating a pizza or something, or you reward yourself by getting out of debt by making a big purchase of something you can't afford. Like, I've been so good, I've saved so much money, time to buy a new car because I deserve it. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense on the outside, but somehow you convince yourself because it seems reasonable in the moment, right? We all say it. I've been so disciplined, I deserve a break. I've made progress. So a little backsliding won't hurt. Let my foot off the pedal. It's okay, right? I earned the right to indulge just a little bit. But what you're really doing is you're training your brain to associate the progress with permission to regress, right? You turn success into a trigger essentially for self-sabotage. So you would wonder, like, so why does this actually happen? Because I think your brain interprets progress as safety, if this makes sense. So once you've made an improvement, like losing some weight, got a few pounds shaved off, or you save some money, right? Or you build some good habit that you're proud of, it's the urgency that drove you to that change starts to fade. So the discomfort that motivated you to change in the first place, it gets replaced by comfort from the progress you made. But comfort itself is the enemy of the continued effort that you've been building. So when you feel safe, you stop doing the things that made you safe, if that makes sense. So it's like, when you're taking antibiotics and then they tell you you got to take it for the full 10 days, although like on day 6, you feel great and you think you don't need to take them anymore just because you feel better. And then you'll wonder when you get off of them early why the infection comes back worse than before. So your brain starts rationalizing in the same way. Since you proved that you could make progress, it figures you could always do some great progress in the future again, right? So taking a break feels low risk in the moment. You can always get back on track tomorrow, next week, after this weekend. Diet starts Monday. How many times have you heard that shit? Diet starts Monday. Diet starts Monday. I've dieted before. Yeah, exactly. So diet starts Monday until many Mondays have passed and you wake up years later and nothing's changed. So, the getting back on track. Yeah, so the getting back on track, it gets harder each time because you're not just dealing with the original problem anymore. You're dealing with the disappointment and self-doubt that comes from the repeated self-sabotage. Like it seeds in your mind, dude, how many more Mondays do I need until I get my shit together? How many more months have to pass until I keep looking like a slob, right? It starts weighing down on you. At one point, it's so heavy that you don't ever start at all, right? That excitement of I'll get back into it, it'll be no problem, is weighed by a ton of shit of I failed so many times. I don't know if I'm cut out for this. I don't know if that's just who I am. Oh, life's too busy. Oh, I got too much going on. There's always some sort of excuse. It doesn't matter. The fact is that they add up and then you get into debt. And that's that feeling where you never start in the first place. So that's kind of a slippery slope, but you have to be very careful of this reward mindset because it's particularly toxic because it treats the good habits like punishment that requires compensation. Do you understand? So working out becomes something you suffer through so you can earn the right to be lazy. That's a horrible way to be thinking about this shit. Or, eating well becomes something you endure so you can justify eating garbage later. This framework will ensure that you'll never actually enjoy the process of improvement. Every positive action becomes a debt that needs to be repaid with a negative one. What a strange framework to live by, yeah? And worse, it'll create a transactional relationship with yourself where progress must be paid for with regression of all things. Instead of just being someone who works out regularly, you have to earn breaks from working out. You think that person has the lasting power to become the person who just works out because that's who they are? If you're constantly accruing that debt, right? Rather than simply eating, for example, you're a person that eats clean because it feels good. Instead, you have to eat clean to earn your cheat meals, right? Through suffering. How is this? It's like a constant internal negotiation. It's exhausting, dude. It's unsustainable. Eventually, you'll burn out from the effort that it takes for you to be clean or working out, or you'll just give up because the reward system, it'll make the whole process feel like you're being deprived of something. Deprived of what? Garbage food? Deprived of a day off to be a fat on the couch? That's what you're being deprived of, but that's how you framed it in your mind. So it seems like doing something that's a good for you, that makes you feel good, that's healthy, is somehow accruing a sort of debt that you get to pay off with something good. So, right? So to break this cycle, you have to change how you think about progress and rewards in your brain. Progress shouldn't be something that you achieve once and then maintain through willpower. It's just something you become through repetition, right? So the goal isn't to reach a point where you can stop doing the things that work, but to get to this point where doing those things becomes automatic. It's a part of you. I work out because that's what I do. I feel good when I do it. It's not something extra, like extra effort, or there's a reward at the end, like I get to eat bad. Same thing with losing weight. I just eat clean because I like how I feel in the weight lost, and it's great to have a nice body. Not that I'm killing myself on this strict diet because I want to eat burgers and pizza on the weekend. No, it's just I feel great doing this. This is who I am. There is no reward at the end. The reward is the process itself, right? The activity becomes the reward. Instead of tolerating workouts so you can earn the rest days, man, same shit. You do it because you feel strong and capable. That's it. You're not suffering anymore. So the process then becomes like intrinsically rewarding. You don't need the external anymore to undermine your progress. You also have to recognize that taking a break from good habits isn't actually restful, right? It's just returning to the state that created the original problem. Okay, going to eat a pizza isn't you doing something good for yourself, a feel good. It's actually going to make you feel like shit. Taking that day off from the gym or working out or the weekend off, when you know you feel good going to the gym, you're not going to feel better sitting on the couch. You're going to feel like shit. And then a day later, you're going to be like, I should have went to the gym. What the fuck was I doing? Or that night when you go to sleep, you're tossing and turning in the bed going like, dude, I have nothing but energy right now. I should have went to the gym. What was I thinking? Right? The real rest will come from the confidence and the energy that good habits provide, not from abandoning them and going back to your old self. And the guys that sustain this kind of shit long term, it's not necessarily that they have more willpower or discipline than you. They just stopped treating the progress like a debt that needs to be repaid with that regression. So instead of working out for, say, something like 3 weeks and then rewarding themselves with a week off or some shit like that, they just work out because they're the kind of person who works out. It's that simple. They don't need to take some time off. It would feel strange for them and uncomfortable because that's not who you are. Right? Just like going to McDonald's or eating fast food doesn't sit well with you because you don't do that. It's no longer a reward for eating clean for a couple of weeks. So, for example, saving money for 2 months, then blowing it on something expensive. You'll save because you're trying to build towards something important, and spending it frivolously will feel like destroying your own work, right? Or building yourself like a good routine that eventually you'll abandon for what? It won't feel good. You create these routines because it gives you the life you want to live. That's the entire point. You're not in a good spot right now. That's why you're developing great habits today. The great habits will make you feel better tomorrow. And when you feel better tomorrow, don't sabotage the good habits by going back to who you were yesterday. It's really that simple. Simple to say out loud until you're in the moment and your brain makes the split-second decision of, do I want to be the guy I used to be, or do I want to be the guy I dream of being? It's really that simple. And with that, I'll open it up to you guys. What do you think?
Well, I think part of the problem with what you're talking about is that people also don't work on their total environment. You know,
Mm,
they like game. Let's take gaming for example. I haven't really done any gaming for years, and when I do it, it was with my sons, and we do it like once every couple of months. We get everybody together, and we just go all out. We stay up till whatever in the morning, but that's
mm,
about it. I suck, and I get killed a lot because I just don't play them anymore because it doesn't interest me like it used to. But I changed my environment, or you get like you're talking about with working out and stuff. You surround yourself with, guys at the gym instead of guys around the couch and stuff. You change your environment. So I think you're less likely to slip or have your little cheat days or whatever if you've got better reinforcement through a better environment you've created for yourself too. So I
mm.
think working on yourself specifically in those areas, but also improving your overall environment is also key to staying consistent. Because I agree with you. The I've done it too. I've been off and on. A lot of it's because working 80, 96 hours a week in a job where I am sitting down a lot at my desk in a housing unit. For example, there's not a lot of activity unless if there's activity, it means everything's gone to shit and it's a fucking nightmare all at once in an instant.
Yeah.
Oh God. But other than that, I've noticed a gaining weight, not being able to work out consistently or at all, where I'm trying to figure out a way to have a half an hour shaved off in the morning out of 4 or 5 hours that I've got total for the day to
Mm.
do something. And it's exhausting, but that's kind of I'm kind of an extreme case with that, I suppose. Most people have, more hours through the day to actually do stuff, and
Definitely.
they do make excuses. So, but
Yeah.
I think the environment part there would be something to look at. Just who you talk to, who you associate with, where you're living, what you're
Mm.
doing with yourself. But yeah, the reward thing is a cop out to me. Like you said, eating I tried that once, and I find eating pizza or something, you feel like shit. It's like going to McDonald's for the first time in 6 months. You feel like total garbage, and you're like, why the fuck did I eat that? It doesn't even taste good.
Yeah.
I think you're remembering how it used to be before, where it might have been
Exactly.
good or whatever it was, and you're trying to go back to that, and then it's just total shit. But yeah,
It's the
environment.
feeling.
I would think about that.
Yeah, it's a feeling you're chasing. You're remembering the feeling, not even the taste or how full you felt eating the burger. It's just it made you feel good in a otherwise bad moment. People cope with
Yep.
food, for example, all the time. So then you're chasing, well, I want to feel good again. I've been eating clean for so long. I want to feel good again. Your brain goes to
Yep.
biting down on that nasty fast food that made me feel good that exact moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Or that
Hmm.
shitty American chocolate bar that tastes like crap now.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow.
But yeah, this process is super deadly. We all do it to different extents, and some guys are more susceptible than others, or go longer doing the whole feedback loop where they reward themselves with bad habits. So I used to have this problem. I still do, but there was a time before where I would make incredible progress, like in the gym, with my diet, just in general, reading books and whatever else I set my mind to. And then I would get into this nasty groove where I'm seeing my life literally changing before my eyes in like 6 months. People are magnetizing to me. I'm making new connections, new mutual friends, hiking with the boys every other week, setting up plans, all this stuff, and sharing all these new ideas I'm learning from the stuff I'm reading. And business is getting better. Everything. My life's improving. Then I go, you know what, dude? I've been going so hard. Like, I deserve some time off. Let me dick around. Oh, maybe smoke some weed. Oh, let's go have this giant XXL burger, greasy as shit. Let's go. And then I start to feel like shit. Um, I remember one time I was absolutely shredded, and I was like, you know what, dude, this is the best I've ever looked. Let me go have a fucking burger. Went to some place in Phoenix that's known for these monster size, practically diabetic monstrosities, dude, just crazy monster burger. Smashed one of those. Felt like What's going on, fellas? Can you hear me okay? Let's go big screen here. Actually, let me get the chats up on the screen. There it goes. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. How are you guys doing? So today, I wanted to focus on the H1B visa stuff because I've actually spent the past few days kind of reading about it in depth. No new camera. It's just I moved it. I changed lenses, really. It looks good. This was my old lens, essentially. I had a 35 millimeter. And where to even begin, dude, with this administration? Yeah, thanks, brother. This lens is pretty good in the dark, too, so it allows me to keep the lights to a minimum. Oh, appreciate you. All right. So that video is on the second channel. It's called Borefik. We have these conversations with the community all the time. We do them 2 times a week. I'm going to increase it to 3 times a week. So if you want to chat with me, join us in the private community over on School. We just had one right now, actually, every Monday. So we do them for an hour. I didn't record this one, unfortunately, but it was a great call. We were talking about vaccines. We were talking about what Trump was potentially going to announce with autism and, maybe some other stuff in regards to Tylenol, I believe. And so there's a lot of stuff that has been happening in the past few days, for sure, in the news cycle. But besides the Charlie Kirk memorial that was just held, there was another thing that he signed an executive order for the H1B visa. Yeah, we've had a crazy week, actually. So, and that's kind of what I've been wanting to talk about is the H1B fee announcement. So basically, Trump signs this executive order, and I'm sure everybody has heard of it by now, right? It's the $100,000 fee for all the H1B visas. And, all the MAGA folks, if you look on Twitter and all that, they're like celebrating like they won the fucking war. Finally, America first, Really, bro? Really? Is that what you think happened? And I'll break this down for you guys. Just take Amazon is like a perfect example of this. They made $575 billion last year. You think they give a shit about, say, $1 billion bill for their H1Bs? It's like dropping a quarter in the parking meter for them. And they probably have a higher budget for their coffee alone for their office workers. It's insane. I'm going to explain to you why this is not a win and all the other stuff that just rubbed me the wrong way when you factor in so many other things. So what they didn't mention at the beautiful signing ceremony he had is that this doesn't apply to over 500,000 foreign workers already here that are taking the jobs. Sounds very America first. It only affects new applicants. So the existing displacement machine keeps running full capacity for them, right? So while everyone celebrates the victory, like we just crushed the entire H1B program, you're going to go ahead and grab the Fell For It Again award. You understand? So this shit gets funnier and funnier. The more you read about this, the more disgusting it actually gets. This is the same guy who's supposed to be America first, right? The same guy who spent 4 years talking about China being our biggest threat. Do you guys remember that? China, the China virus. He also announced, I think a couple of weeks before this, bringing in 600,000 Chinese students. Obama brought in 300,000. Trump is bringing in 600,000 Chinese students. Do you want to know why that is? Because our woke universities are dying. And enrollments are down at least 20% since COVID. They've actually already admitted this. So the admins with their multi-million fucking dollar salaries are watching this entire scam fall apart. And here comes China with basically what amounts to like a $40 billion check, essentially, because that's what 600,000 students paying around 40 to 50K each, if not more, because they pay double to triple. So each of these kids are paying this much. That's a fucking lifeline. That's the deal with the devil that we just made. And I'll circle back to the H1B shortly here because I see a lot of people are asking about it. I remember being in college. I don't know if it's different for you, but I was dead broke. I was eating peanut butter jelly sandwiches, not the store brand, or I should say the store brand shit. I couldn't afford the Skiffies or the Jifs. That was my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I wasn't even able to spend more than $50 on food, working 2 to 3 jobs, almost failing classes because I didn't have time between fucking work and homework. That was the experience for me. But the experience, and I would say for the average American, what do you think the experience is for these rich Chinese students, though? If you've ever seen them around campus, they're loaded with money, full of fucking luxurious cars, watches, clothes. That's a far cry from the average American's experience. And then people are saying, so what, bro? They're rich, right? Who cares? Well, when you dig deeper, under Chinese law, and I shit you not, every single one of these students can be legally compelled to spy. Every single one. And I'm not saying they will, right? But they can and they will because it's written into law. Go read up on this. I'm not bullshitting you. It's called the 2017 National Intelligence Law. We are inviting 600,000 CCP spies. They are legally compelled to spy on us. Winning, give me the awards for winning. So your kid's paying $200,000 potentially for a degree, working 3 jobs, eating ramen, sitting next to someone whose government might be using them to steal whatever the research your tax dollars funded, and we're celebrating a fucking H1B fee. International students are 6% of enrollment, but they provide almost 30% of the fucking tuition, you guys. If you looked at Northeastern University, it's 67% foreign students. What? And NYU, I think the numbers were 27,000 international students. And Trump himself has admitted this, that he literally said, I think quoted verbatim was, the college system would go to hell quickly without these Chinese students, without these foreigners. And it gets even more sick, right? Because while we're all arguing about the $100,000 fee and all this bullshit, the State Department just quietly accelerated, I shit you not, green card processing for Indians. Like Indians currently waiting for EB-5 visas just jumped forward 15 fucking months. EB-1, 12 months forward. All the other EBs, like 3 months each. Speedy processing of green cards. What? Do you know what that means in real numbers? We're talking 300,000 Indians who came here on H1B since 2019. They get to stay here. So much for winning. Then, hold on. 71% of H1B workers are already Indian. So are you tired of winning yet? You think this is a win? And they get fast-tracked permanent residency. Is this what you voted for? And then the full picture is this. So let me spell it out for you. We have 600,000 Chinese students, 300,000 Indians with corporate sponsors already here. We have up to 20 million undocumented, and they're staying on the H2A and H2A. Those are the agricultural workers. They're completely untouched by any of this. And hospitality too. Basically the farm labor, all the cheap labor. You even have, I shit you not, gold card visas for millionaires where you pay for permanent residency. So you get wage suppression from H1B workers who will accept, I think the numbers were quoted as nearly 40% wage discount compared to Americans. And I even forgot the $20K that you could pay now to fast track your green card through the Dignity Act that they passed. So awards falling for them constantly. Congratulations. Do you see how they tell you one thing, but then another thing is happening through the back door? I mean, is anything sacred about America anymore, or is everything for sale? Right? This is honestly, it feels like Rome, where they were giving citizenship to everybody living in the empire. That was the beginning of the end, where you pay your way for citizenship like we're doing right now. We're on the same path. This is a complete replacement of the American people from top to bottom. And we're celebrating an H1B. I'm seeing people glaze hardcore. If you look online to see what, especially just see what the H1B holders are saying, some panicked on the first day, but others not so much. They know. And they're saying shit like, Americans are lazy as fuck. You can't stop them. They literally run our economy. We can't do fucking math because we're retarded. That's why they're here. They're taking all our jobs. And they know what's going to come next at this is that they're going to offshore all our jobs. And nobody's going to realize this until it's too late. And they're not even hiding it anymore. You got guys like David fucking Sachs says that, Americans are lacking skills. But these are the same kind of billionaires that laid off 27,000 American workers and then turned around and hired 25,000 H1Bs. Is that fucking winning? Is that fair in any way? So there's so much more beneath the surface. And I think people are celebrating this H1B shit a bit prematurely. And as far as the reports go, and, the reports are stating that the administration is already waffling on the information. They had to clarify a few things. If I'm not mistaken, it's as if Trump is trying to satisfy two constituencies, right? It's the donor class and then the people that actually voted him in, MAGA. I mean, look, how else can you explain 600,000 Chinese students? How can you possibly look at MAGA that voted you in and say, we want 600,000 foreign students that will be compelled to spy on us. We want them here. I mean, partially this is happening because AI, and we know it's going to destroy colleges, and it's easy money to bring in these foreigners that'll pay 2 to 3 times what tuition costs. Universities already know this. It's already reported. Like I said, enrollment is already down. And that's why they're desperate for the Chinese money. They're not educating you anymore. That's not what college is about. They're running a visa mill. That's all college has become now. Where you come, you get a degree, you stay for the H1B, you take an American job, or send the knowledge back to China, for example. It's just economic warfare, you guys. Or survival, depending on how you see it if you're working as an admin for the colleges. With a fucking graduation ceremony at the end. Congratulations. We got played again. I mean, Trump's Commerce Secretary, fucking Howard Lutnick, said this shit on Fox News. I had to find this and double check. He said if we don't take the 600,000 Chinese students, up to 20% of universities will go out of business. He fucking said that, literally. But the real number is probably way worse. Because the bottom 20 would collapse right away without foreign cash. This is insane. This is for do you understand how this is all for profit? They'll turn around and they say they stopped H1Bs, but then they're coming through the back door. We're doing mass deportations, but through legal means, you're still getting replaced. If American universities only survive by importing students, aka potential spies, doesn't that show that we have a fucking problem? Right? Then there's the illegals, you guys. We have up to 20 million. We don't even know the real fucking number. Maybe more are in this country. And Biden added at least 6 to 8 million of those were him alone. But we have mass deportations. What mass deportations, bro? The numbers are ass. Have you checked them? Because they got released. February deportations under Trump were actually lower than February under Biden's term. What? And they're holding something like 40,000 migrants in detention while maintaining a backlog, apparently, of nearly 8 million people awaiting deportation proceedings. Am I getting this right? So we're spending $150 billion on what they call enforcement. This shit is theater for the real replacement that continues through the legal means that I just told you, all the legal channels. What the fuck are we doing here? Please. So explain that shit. First, it was no raids on farms and hotels. Then, well, maybe their employers, if they vouch for them, they can stay. And now they're talking about touchback programs where illegals leave for a day and then they come back and then it's legal, which is amnesty with a little vacation. Tired of winning yet? Are we fucking serious about mass deportations? Or was it all bullshit from the beginning? Please tell me, because I have researching this, I couldn't describe it any other way. In what world do you campaign on sending them all back and turn it around within 6 months and say amnesty for some, and then pat yourself on the back like it's a major win? And then you got the conservatives, all these accounts on X, dude, glazing the administration. Every single fucking policy failure of the administration. It's like some landmark fucking 4D chess. Give me a fucking break, dude. Trust the plan. I'm sick of hearing the trust the plan. The part that really pisses me off is when you read a little deeper in this bullshit. And it floored me. And I just mentioned this in the private community chat, just how corrupt the H1B program actually is. I'm not even kidding you. You can look this up. And somebody in the chat here, I swear to you, somebody in the chat, this probably happened to you. I'll mention this later. Let me hold it. Next thought. The people that are even giving out the visas, we'll go back into, remind me in a little bit. The people that are getting these visas aren't even like Google, Apple, Microsoft, all this shit. The best and brightest aren't even coming over. Okay. I read that it's these weird companies and they're all getting sued. One of them was called like Infosys. One of is like Wipro or something. Tata Consulting or some shit like that. There's another one I think is called Cognizant, which was just found guilty of discrimination, and some other ones. So there's a bunch of these like mills, H1B mills that are nonstop, just sending infinite Indians over here. They're not tech innovators, bro. They're just like body shops, literally. They're bringing in workers and paying them like 70 to 80K per person to replace Americans that normally would be making something like 120 to 150, if not more. But wait, this is where it gets really fucking sick. So some of you, this is what I mean. You have to have direct knowledge of this. The American worker has to train their replacement or they lose severance. I'm not joking. And it's almost always paired with an NDA that prevents them from even talking about it publicly. Listen to me. You're not hearing me here. You have to literally train the person taking your job, then shut up about it forever if you want your severance package. This shit is unfucking believable. And Trump is allowing this to continue. Dude, do you hear me? You have to train your replacement and then you have a gag order from the company. Shut the fuck up. And once we bring in your Indian replacement, we'll pay them half. And there's nothing you can do about it if you want your severance package. And all the other shit, like maybe non-competes or whatever else is attached to you shutting up. Are you kidding me? Like this, when I read that, my jaw dropped. I'm like, how's that legal? How must you feel working 10, 20 years for a company, maybe more, and you're already in a specialized industry, and then they bring over a dude on an H1B program who's going to get offered half to do the job your own job you're training him for. And if you dare open your mouth, you will lose your fucking severance. That's robbery. That's insane. And one of these companies, I think it was called Infosys, they got hit with a $34 million fine for visa fraud. The whole program, this is systemic fraud. And they're still in business. The visa mills are still in business, right? And they're, I think I looked at it over the weekend before Monday. I haven't even checked the stock market, but some of them were down 5%. I don't know what Monday open looks like, which is today for you guys. If you check Infosys and all that in the chat and let me know. They were down 5%. I haven't checked as of this Monday yet, and even the Chamber of Commerce now openly argues that doubling immigration might be the fastest thing to do to impact inflation. Are you shitting me? They're literally admitting that the goal is wage suppression, not skills. It's not innovation, just keeping your wages down. And companies like Google and Meta and Microsoft and Salesforce, they wrote a fucking letter demanding the elimination of the 85,000 H1B visa cap. And right after these companies laid off 70,000 American workers, the fucking audacity. Literally, you're being replaced. So you're asking yourself, like, what the fuck does this H1B visa actually do anyways? Is this a real win? No, because what it actually does is it's going to accelerate offshoring. Think about it like this. If it cost $100K salary, or sorry, $100K plus salary to bring someone here, why not move the whole fucking operation to India in the first place? And that's exactly what's going to happen. Think about it like this. Some companies are already planning this kind of shift to offshore, and I've heard reports up to like 90% of operations. And then they'll pass a majority of the cost to the clients through visa compliance surcharges, what they're going to call them. It's fucked. So the companies that could afford this kind of shit, like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, the big guys, they'll pay because they don't give a fuck about $100K. Especially if it's a one-time thing. After a couple of years, they'll make their money back. But all the mid-sized companies, all the little startups, they're going to just offshore. And they're already starting. They routed some shit through Canada and Mexico and using the H1B extensions plus subcontractors to bypass the whole fucking system entirely. So your job isn't even being saved with H1B. It's being exported completely. But it just looks better. Oh, well, at least they're not here in America taking my job. Oh, well, your job is now overseas. The fuck? And then computer science majors, I think I read age 22 to 27, they're experiencing something like over 6% unemployment currently. And then engineering graduates, computer engineer graduates hit almost 8%, which is double the national average. So big tech is already screwed. And yet we have all these people, right? And then they're like recent college graduates. I think I saw computer engineering, the recent ones of 2023 are 14% of them are still job seeking. 14%. That's 6 months after graduation. That means you're still job seeking. But somehow these companies claim there's a talent shortage and they need to import infinite Indians over here that accept up to like 40% off in pay. No bullshit. Seriously. Are you starting to piece it together? Are you seeing how the H1B shit is a fucking joke? And it's just getting rerouted so that corporations will still benefit. You're the one that's still getting fucked. You understand? So what's coming in the next 5 years? Well, no shit, Sherlock. Here's what's coming. Think about this. Tech unemployment is probably going to hit something insane like 15 fucking percent or more for Americans, not for the foreigners coming here. Companies are going to keep claiming that bullshit lie of there's talent shortages. There isn't. They just don't want to pay $250,000 to hire an American for the true cost of his skill. And fucking universities are going to become something like 40%, 50% international students. And they're going to start pricing out Americans, right? Entry-level professional jobs will cease to exist for all the American graduates. The middle class will split between, whether you're rich enough to play the game Or you're just going to fucking be working some service job. It's a complete joke, starving to death. Say goodbye to social cohesion because it's just going to completely collapse this fucking economy. And we're going to create like a parallel society. That's going to be the new norm of haves versus have-nots. It's a, you will own nothing and you will be happy. It's literally, it's happening. I'm not fear-mongering, dude. I'm just doing basic pattern recognition here. Look into all of this. There are real solutions too, not to be a doom or a black pill, but the administration is dragging its fucking knuckles and refusing to go full bore on this shit. It's simple, actually. End the fucking H1B program entirely. If companies need specialists, then make them pay a $500K minimum salary and watch how fast they'll find American talent instead. Simple. Boom. There you go. I just solved H1B for you. Or foreign students. They can come here. They can learn, right? And they'll leave with no work permits. Fuck off. No pathway to stay in the country. Just education only. Fine. Cool story. You want to pay into our college system? You will pay. And then you will leave. And massive penalties for hiring illegals. Not fines, but have jail time for the executives. Not just the fucking companies themselves. Right? Put a fucking exit tax on offshoring, where if you want to move, or the jobs that you want to move overseas, let's say, how about you have to pay a 50% penalty tax for the 10 years of that job? So example, if you're getting paid $50,000, you would have to pay a $25,000 fine for that one job, 10 years worth. So $250,000 to move the job overseas. This is how you protect Americans. It's very easy to institute these changes, and it would immediately bring back all the jobs and keep them here and no longer competing with foreigners, right? And then audit every single one of these fucking visa programs if we keep them with a public database. Every visa holder, we want to see their salary. We want to see who their employer is. We want to see everything. So we can name and shame them. Because why the fuck, I've read from the H1B program, they got H1Bs that are doing shit like a dog groomer. Excuse the fuck out of me. When do we need dog groomers on an H1B? What? Does it make any sense? And it's stupid because, you know, they'll never do any of the shit I said. Do you know why? Think about this. Because the people making the decisions are the ones profiting from them. It's like Lutnick admits, dude, all the big companies are on board with the fee. Do you hear me? The companies are on board with the fee because they can afford the $100K per visa. They'll save the $30K annually per worker through the wage suppression. It means nothing to them. This is insane. This is why the $100,000 H1B fee is all theater and it's a scam. So I called it a scam. And what the fuck? The accelerated green cards tell you as much. So what are we stopping here? Then you have 600,000 fucking potential CCP spies with access to cutting edge fucking knowledge, all for a fucking profit. And the undocumented amnesty is coming whether you like it or not. And they'll call it something different. We need hospitality workers. We need people to pick the strawberries. Or what? This is systematic replacement of the American middle class with some controllable, exploitable foreign workforce that you can't fight back and you can't vote and you can't complain. And they're not even hiding it anymore. What do you think these H1Bs, you think they can ask for a raise? The moment you lose your job, you're going back home. They're doing this in broad daylight. They're literally telling you to your face, you don't matter, your kids don't matter, and your country is an economic zone for the highest bidder. Get fucked. That's what they're telling you. And the thing that makes this whole situation not just fucking tragic, right, but absolutely infuriating is, Jesus Christ, dude. This is the Trump administration doing this. This is the America First president, the guy who ran on they're not sending their best, the guy who promised the wall, the guy who would say he said he would end H1B abuse, the guy who told you that he'd fight for the forgotten American. Huh? How'd you forget Americans when you brought thinking of bringing 600,000 Chinese? Excuse me. Does that make any sense? Remember 2016? We're going to bring jobs back. We're going to end chain migration. We're going to put America first. So why the fuck did you invite 600,000 Chinese and the Indians are getting fast-tracked green cards? Why is the H1B program still running at full fucking capacity just with a fee as a cost of doing business? For big corporations, that's nothing. We voted for a statesman, you guys. We got a businessman that's cutting deals. And guess what? You're not part of the deal. You're the product that got sold the fuck out. And while we're being honest, I have to mention this because it's fucking annoying. How much aid are we about to send to Israel? How many billions of dollars? I read recently they're trying to get them $6 billion this week. As far as I've read, I don't know if the number is increased or not. While Americans can't afford groceries, our infrastructure is crumbling. Our kids can't afford to go to college. Or if they do, they'll come out with a lifetime of debt. We're sending billions overseas. Not millions, guys. Not a couple millies here and there. Billions of dollars. Trump goes to Israel, right? He goes fucking does the whole I touch the wall, makes some promises, goes to AIPAC, makes more motherfucking promises, meets Netanyahu for like the fourth time. I think he's scheduled to come back here again to make even more promises again. But what promises has he kept for the American people? Where's the same energy for Detroit, for rural America, for the Rust Belt, for those people that voted him in? Are you getting it yet? Every single politician, Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter. They'll trip over themselves to pledge allegiance to Israel, but pledge allegiance to the American worker. That's socialism, bro. Apparently, that's protectionism. That's bad for the economy. Whose fucking economy? By the way, I just saw half of our fucking Congress is like flying the Israeli flag in our government in front of their offices, hanging outside their doors. The little bobby pins with fucking Israel on there, on their suits. One of them literally wore, you can Google this, wore a fucking IDF soldier uniform to a GOP conference. His name's Brian Mast. He's a Florida congressman. He wore a foreign country's army uniform inside the halls of power in America. What the fuck? What? Where are the Epstein files? Do you remember that? We're going to release everything. We're going to drain the swamp, G. We're going to expose them all. It's been how long now? Nothing. Silence. Should just got moved on to the next distraction. It's a Democrat hoax. And you know why those files will never come to light? Because it's also not a Democrat problem or a Republican problem. It's a ruling class problem. It's a system where the people making decisions about your life are all compromised, all connected, all protecting each other. And the Trump administration knows what's in the files. Biden knows what's in the files. They all know. They all agreed without ever having to say anything about it out loud. Those files will fucking stay buried because the entire house of cards will come crashing down if Americans knew who was really running things and what they've been doing behind that veil, which is like an unimaginable level of disgust. These are fucking child diddlers, murders, and we're protecting that shit somehow. Insane. It's hilarious and fucking tragic at the same time. If you look at X, again, do the conservatives on X. Half of MAGA is defending Trump bringing in 600,000 Chinese students saying, you know, trust the plan, bro, or some other QAnon horseshit I'm reading on there. And the other half is screaming that it's actually a fucking betrayal. Dare to ask a question. So here it is, MAGA. And I say that with absolutely love. We got our trophy. Yeah. You got what you fucking voted for, bro. Here's your award. You voted against the establishment, but somehow you got a guy that just gave the establishment everything they fucking wanted. You vote to drain the swamp and got the guy that filled his administration with the swamp. The fuck? The same Goldman Sachs dickheads, those execs, are all in his shit. The same corporate lobbyists are all over his administration. The same neocons who've been fucking this country for decades now, they're all in his administration. You voted America first, and then you got Israel first. Now you got India first. Then you got corporate America first. And Americans are dead fucking last. Every single campaign promise, bro, where is it? Did Mexico pay for the wall? You remember that one? The infrastructure plan? What the fuck happened to that? The healthcare plan that was always 2 weeks away. Do you guys remember that one? I know you were going to end the Ukraine war 24 hours, bro. Me and Putin are really tight like that. And then also I'll bring manufacturing back to America. What? By what? Bringing 300,000 Indians in plus Chinese? That's what we got. 600,000 Chinese spies in training and fast-tracked Indian green cards and amnesty by another name with more aid to Israel, while East Palestine, Ohio, is still poisoned. I'm pretty sure they didn't clean up that fucking train crash and people are still dying there and being poisoned to death. The Epstein files are so buried deep, you'd think they'd fucking come up somewhere in a random country in the Middle East. On the other side of the world. I don't know, some tiny country somewhere. And now your jobs are getting offshored faster than ever. Your kids are priced out of their own fucking country. Our skilled jobs are disappearing. They're getting replaced. Our low skilled jobs are getting replaced. Holy fuck, bro. Our unskilled jobs are still getting replaced. You will own nothing and be happy. Trump didn't drain the swamp, dude. He's become the swamp. He's not fighting the rhinos. He is one now. It's a wrap. He's one and the same. The same Republicans who fought him in 2016 that tried to primary him in 2020, they were whispering about the 25th Amendment and all that shit. They're all on board now with him. Do you know why? Why would that be? Because he's giving them exactly what they always wanted. Cheap labor for the corporate donors and Israel first foreign fucking policy for AIPAC and all their handlers. And on top of that, building a surveillance state with Palantir and all the other AI companies. Winning. The saddest part is that the Trump supporters are still defending it, still making excuses, still saying trust the plan, while their communities are fucking getting destroyed. Your jobs are getting stolen. Your kids are getting replaced. There's no way around that. That's the brutal truth of what's happening. But when it came time to deliver, when it came time to actually fight the system, he made deals, his deals, not for you, for him, for his class, his actual people, the billionaire class. That's who he's always belonged to. You think he was the normal Rust Belt worker? Like he knows about that life? This to do with golden fucking toilets. You thought you were hiring an employee that was going to work on your behalf? Turns out you're the fucking product getting sold. And that shit is final, bro. No take backsies, no refunds, no returns. Just cope and seethe, bro, while they replace you legally. Unreal. You can only betray people so many fucking times before they stop believing, right? You can only promise to deliver and fail so many fucking times before the crowds stop showing up. The America First movement, it has to be bigger than Trump. It has to be, because Trump made it crystal clear he's America first if it's convenient for him, when it's profitable, when it doesn't conflict with his real priorities. And the millions of Americans are waking up to this shit. That's why there's a schism happening in MAGA. Not the Twitter personalities, or X, whatever you want to call it, that just glaze him no matter what he does. Not all these fucking influencers who go toe the line, trust my friends in the government kind of bullshit. The real MAGA crowd, the real Americans, the one who voted for him because they believed that they were going to get something different. And they're now realizing a really brutal, harsh truth, bro. Nobody is coming to save you. Not Trump, not DeSantis, not any fucking politician, because the system works exactly as designed. And everyone at the top, right, center, it doesn't matter. They're all in on this bullshit. That's the ultimate black pill. That's what we're realizing. That's where we are right now. That's the real fucking situation. We got played. We all got played, literally, by a reality TV billionaire. I mean, that's what it is. Convinced us he was on our side, that he was different, that he was going to break the system. And then we got sold out to the highest bidder. He's a businessman. He's making deals, bro. Making deals that make no sense for the average American. It makes his shit worse. The other side is somehow even more insane to vote for. There's going to be people that are saying, like, bro, at least it's not Kamala Harris. That's our fucking choices. What an insane choice that is. So essentially what you're saying is we never had a choice. All we could do is hold up our noses and hope the shit just doesn't roll near us and come in contact with our everyday life. Holy shit. I'm doing well, brother. How are you? Jeez, man. What's it going to take to get real leadership in this country that puts Americans first? I'm dying for an answer. I think literally that is what everybody is wondering now after we've seen 6 to 8 months of this administration. I don't know. I had to get that shit off my chest. That's why I think this H1B shit is a scam. When you factor all this up together, it's just a play for money. I'll read some super chats right now. Let's start them up.
This isn't what we voted for. Department of War and Gulf of America isn't exactly improving our lives. And more foreigners nobody asked for.
Yeah. Appreciate the 5, brother.
I'm a US citizen and I couldn't even get a job after leaving active duty. I was so broke that just having butter with rice was a luxury.
Godly. That's winning.
Can America even be saved? No matter what side we're on, immigration will ruin us. How do we fight the corporations? What should we expect moving forward? How do we get the politicians represent us?
Look, dude, we have to start a third party. There's no way. If you vote a Republican or a Democrat, you're pretty much voting for big tech. You're voting for corporations. You're voting for the very people that are funding the campaign trail. Donate. It should have been a red flag to everybody when Trump is getting shit like $100 million from Miriam Adelson. When how many hundreds of millions of dollars did Elon Musk spend to help get him elected also? The fact that the donor class, the rich, the elite, have this much power, this much sway, it's corruption. It's not lobbying. It's the super PAC. All these funny fucking words for literally buying politicians. We have to have some kind of third party. There is no way. There's no other way. Unless you somehow have a grassroots campaign that's so strong enough on a national level where people refuse to vote on anybody that took a cent from corporations, from special interests, from foreign lobbying groups, whatever the fuck. That's the only way. Like, you literally have to have a counter. You know how they have that on X? There's like an APAC tracker that tracks each single person in government that literally tells you to the cent amount of how much money they've received from APAC, for example. You would have to have a donor tracker on every single potential politician that's running to track. That number needs to stay at 0. The only donations they can get is from like small individual people. That's it. Individual donations. Anything approaching lobbying groups, super PACs, dark pool money, any of that bullshit, we need to track where they're going, who they're meeting. It's insane. For example, JD Vance is next in line. People don't know. The only reason JD Vance got selected is because Trump met with Peter Thiel. Once the meeting with Peter Thiel and JD Vance happened, the next day, JD Vance was named as Trump's running mate. This was for a never Trumper before. What? Is that not influence peddling? I don't know.
Think of how stupid the average person is, and realize half of them are stupider than that. George Carlin.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, man. Yeah, someone said, Bo, this isn't what you voted for, Department of War. Let me play that one. I don't know why I didn't play.
Bo, this isn't what we voted for. Department of War and Gulf of America isn't exactly improving our lives. And more foreigners nobody asked for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, boy. That was it, guys. I just, what do you guys think of these episodes? Do you like when I go in ham like this? Give me some feedback, because we're going to call it. It's already 11:08. I should be in bed. But I was supposed to talk about this yesterday, but I ran out of time, so I guess we'll see how it performs. Yeah. More rants. Okay, dope. How long are we even streaming for? An hour? Okay. Is an hour about good for... No, I think you guys want longer live streams, like 2-3 hours. It's just sad, dude. Everybody was so hopeful. He represented being outside the system, somebody that could come in and break everything. And what we ended up getting, at least the second time around, was literally more the same, if not worse.
Funny
if not
how the
even
Senate
more
voted
captured.
to block the Epstein files the day after Charlie's assassination.
That also happened, so I forgot that too. They voted to block again. Jeez, man. He couldn't be any more different from 2016. I mean, I don't know. It makes sense that you don't get as much pushback as you did the first go around. Kind of the whole Republican Party pretty much is under his wing now. You don't really have any open rebellions anymore like they used to. Sure, he gets sidetracked here and there, but once that donor money started rolling in, I think what happened is once the donor class, and you know who, started seeing what was happening on the liberal college campuses, especially after the October 7th war and all that stuff, the massacre, the ethnic cleansing, they started getting scared at that. The monster that they created is now completely loose and turning on them. So what do you have to do? You have to start to placate to the Team Red. What else could you possibly do? In order to gain control of the narrative that you've lost completely. So I noticed around that time, if you look at the news cycle, Trump was getting attacked constantly berated in the news cycle, attacked personally, attacked professionally, threatened with jail, all the arrest, everything. And then once these meetings started to happen, once he started getting that $100 million here and there and the closed door meetings, and all of a sudden, mainstream media softened its tone on Trump, dramatically so. Completely different messaging. Then all of a sudden, he wins by a landslide. He was no longer evil. What's this one say?
Imagine if people put energy into really problems in our society than worrying about football teams. Bread and circuses hubbo. Rolling eyes face emoji.
Yeah. Bread and circuses, dude. We haven't learned since the Roman Empire. That's why I say, I don't want to be black-pilled. We do need to have a movement where people start to vote for the third party or independent candidates. The issue is they kind of got us in a vice grip by the balls. As long as you have your porn, which is easily accessible, as long as you have your video games, which are free to play with only microtransactions, as long as you have your slop on TV, on your tablet, on your phone, as long as you're dependent on the system with barely
enough to survive, are you really going to be in a position to make a change, to do something different, to go out and fight for the world? How are you going to fight when you have nothing to fight for? You got no family. You got no wife. You got no kids. You're probably living with a roommate. You're already disconnected from your fellow generation because everybody's hopped up on fucking pills, brain rotted from TikTok, or in some other insane vice, barely hanging on by a thread. Everyone's antisocial. Nobody could afford to go out. What are you talking about dating? It's too expensive. Inflation's out of fucking control. Nobody's getting married anymore because it's a fucking clown show and it's super biased. Nobody's having kids because, Jesus Christ, you can't afford a house. What are you talking about kids, bro? Can't afford a wife. We haven't even gotten to that part yet. So can't own my own house, can't fucking afford a wife, and then you want me to have kids on top of that? Oh, shit. Now there's a problem. Then they're all blaming Gen Z and shit and like, oh, these Gen Z kids are lazy. They're not pulling themselves up by their bootstraps. They're barefooted. They have no boots. They're walking around here barefoot, completely fucked, naked, out in the world and being told, chin up, lad. It's not that hard. If you just try harder, barefoot, you'll make it one day. You're just a punk. You're too fucking lazy. What? Are you kidding me? Gen Z should be renamed the broken generation. They literally grew up in a time period where dating is broken, wages are broken, jobs are broken. They have ghost jobs. What kind of shit is that? Their government is broken. The institutions, the colleges are broken. They're too expensive. What works for Gen Z? Dating is broken. They have hookup culture. Women are broken. They love to do OnlyFans instead of being wives and having kids. They don't even like kids. A woman's main priority now, they polled young women, it's work and some selfish shit. I forgot what it was. Work and happiness. And they voted marriage and kids last. Do you know what the Gen Z men voted first? Marriage and children. What are these guys supposed to fight and die for? What are they're pulling their bootstraps up for what? OnlyFans whores? Yeah, bro, you're going to tell this guy, get out of your man cave, stop playing video games so you could wife up a straight hoe? Whoa, dude. So fucking motivating. It's a joke. And to go what? How are you going to provide for your hoe? You have no job. It probably doesn't pay enough. And it's going to get taken if you get the skill by some fucking H1B dude. Can't go pick strawberries because there's already millions of illegals doing that too. Oops. So what? Yeah, you're going to what? DoorDash? You're going to Uber people around in your bucket? Fuck, bro. Sick. I need gig jobs with no health insurance, and I'm going to really pull myself up. I know why I'm poor. It's the Starbucks, dude. I bought too many coffees, and that's why I can't climb the social ladder. Are you fucking retarded? This is crazy. Imagine, yeah, Gen Z is the broken generation. You guys got fucked. Millennials were already halfway fucked. The older millennials kind of made it. The younger millennials struggled, but still had some opportunity. I graduated high school at the peak of the fucking '09. I graduated at the peak of the fucking Great Recession. And everybody was looking at us like, oh yeah, you guys are kind of fucked. Cool story. And then Gen Z got outpriced dramatically by the time they graduated and went to college and all that. Then it was like, hey, buddy, by the way, the job you're getting will not exist because AI. And when you do get this job, we're going to train your replacement, some Indian dude. We're going to pay him half. And here's an NDA. And don't fucking say a word or else you're not getting your severance if you manage to even get a job. Oh, and then you got to go to college. I forgot about this. In a fucking femme-toxic, absolutely insane, anti-masculine, anti-male campus where a chick can literally be like, he touched me inappropriately. And the school fucking expels you. No investigation because believe all women. So what? Then you got to work in a corporate office with your thumbs up your ass because you got to stare at your screen. If you look at Cindy a little too long, that's harassment. Talking to HR, your ass is fired. Are you shitting me? Yeah, someone said avocado toast killed my hopes of home ownership. You fucked up, Chris. You got one too many avocado toast. Well, you should have pulled the trigger on houses when they were $20,000 at the peak of the 08-09 crash. Now those same houses are worth $400,000. I'll never forget it. There was like 4 or 5 houses in my neighborhood, or my parents' old neighborhood, and they all had the foreclosure signs outside. And a rich Chinese businessman from out of state came and he bought them all for 20 G's or less per house. And then he rented them out. Each one of those houses are now $400,000. And he's renting them out for something like 3 G's. Before my parents had sold their house and moved out, there was like a Mexican family living to them on the right. And there was like 3 whole families in there. They converted the car garage into a fucking room. And then there was like 20 cars lined up in the driveway. Shit you not, bro. When I grew up in that neighborhood, it was a nice, quiet, kind of lower middle class, predominantly white neighborhood. And now it just looks like a dump. Straight fucking dump. It turned into an absolute shithole. The other house across from them to the left, they had a police raid on them because there was a house of another like 20 people there that were dealing all sorts of who knows what. That fucking like 20 cars come and just apprehend a bunch of people out of a quote trap house or whatever the fuck it was. Holy shit. Yeah. You got what you voted for. Jeez Louise.
He wasn't like this his first term, and this wouldn't have happened if he won in 2020. This time around, he was under a lot of lawfare, so he had to get bailed out by someone. So I understand.
You see what I mean? You're getting sold out, and he goes, bro, it's okay. It would have been different, but I get it. You're under lawfare. You got to take some money from foreigners. You got to do exactly what your corporate donors tell you to do, which is fuck Americans, the very ones that voted you in. I get it, dude. I get it. There's so much stress. Lawfare, you're going to jail. They're fucking with you. They're not letting you win. Operation Warp Speed, that wasn't his fault. 600,000 Chinese. It's not him doing it. It's the donor class. It's 109D chess. He's ultimately going to save us all. Just wait. It's part of the plan, bro. You don't understand. This is 42D chess here. Calm down. At the end of this term, everything will be solved. And then we're going to have J.D. Vance come in.
You should
Just
make
wait.
a soundbite of Trump asking if you're tired of winning.
Yeah. This is crazy, dude. Do you see how they keep defending this shit? Literally, you're being replaced from top, middle, and down. I just spelled it out for you. The dude's saying, I get it, though. Listen, I understand, bro. It's the way it is. Look. If I was under lawfare, I would sell all you fuckers out, too. I would renege on all my campaign promises. And then I would go have dinner with the elite. I got Bill Gates next to me talking about his vaccines he's trying to deploy in his fake fucking meat and his fake butter and all the other crazy shit. I got Jeff Bezos and all these other billionaires. I'm having an incredible dinner with the elite striking deals. I got Apple to invest $600 billion to build iPhones in America. Fucking winning, bro. But what they don't tell you is those are going to be dark factories. That they're robotic factories that are literally lights off, auto-assembling the fucking iPhones. Auto-assembly, 24/7. The same shit with the data centers that they're building, which is causing you to pay 70% more and rising electricity costs. You're using less electricity today and paying more because the big tech companies building these fucking super AI that's going to make us, is going to revolutionize society, bro. You're going to be smarter than you've ever been, so productive, while you're drowning in debt because you can't afford electricity. You're going to be freezing to death in the winter while you're messaging ChatGPT. How do I keep warm? I can't afford electricity. What the fuck? So dystopian, dude. They're striking deals with local governments, the local cities that they're opening up the data centers in. and they're getting preferred rates. So you're subsidizing them. Do you understand? That's why your electricity costs are going up. You, the American person, taxpayer, is subsidizing big tech data centers. They don't have a separate fee that should be for businesses. They don't pay their own rates. They bid on the same capacity that's going to increase your costs, the same capacity that should be allotted to you. And they're only going to keep increasing. You know, your electricity costs are going to go up, bro. You won't be paying what you're paying now. Double it. Double it with the current economy. Keep going. Where's the legislation to help Americans? Explain to me how this is one of the easiest ones. Why is Blackstone, not BlackRock, Blackstone, allowed to keep buying houses to the tune of tens, hundreds of thousands perhaps, pricing out normal everyday Americans who want to start a family, who need a nest to start a family? How has that not been a hot button topic for the Trump administration? Very easy. America First policy. Stop the fucking robbery of homes for Americans by private equity. Crickets. I understand, bro. The dude, you gave me $10. Thank you. I understand. While you can't afford a home, I want you to keep saying, I understand. While your car payment goes up with interest rates that are out of fucking control, I want you to say, I understand. When your rent is fucking you in the ass, say, I understand. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Trump. I understand it's hard for you. Lawfare. Lawfare. It's really difficult for him. When a migrant comes in and replaces your job, I hope you're that understanding. Why don't we have standards for these fucking politicians? I don't understand why you can't simply just admit, hey, bro, what you promised on the campaign trail is not what we're getting while you're in office. I'm not happy with that. Step it the fuck up. Why is the default always, at least it's not Harris? Every time I fucking post some shit about this or talk about, at least it's not Harris. Are you a fucking Democrat? You're fucking woke now? You mean you were going to vote for fucking Biden or Harris? Are you fucking mentally challenged? Does your brain not function properly? Are you glazing so hard you can't get the cock out of your mouth? Do you not understand that you voted for one thing and you're getting another? How about we start there? Can we literally say, you're not who the fuck you were purported to be during the campaign trail, and I want my money back. You sold me bullshit. Who the fuck brings in 600,000 Chinese spies? Oh, because we're propping up the colleges that are already pricing out Americans. So now that they're dying because the revolution in AI and education that's coming down the pipe, they need to bring in hundreds of thousands of foreigners to prop up a dying system because they're so bloated. The admins want to collect their multi-million-dollar paychecks. But you can't help Americans. You can't use that to somehow help lower the fucking tuition rate so we can get a decent education. No, we can't do that, bro. We're going to bring in an H1B, and then the Chinese will just take all the fucking knowledge and cutting edge research we're doing in our elite institutions and sell that shit back to literally the next country in line to be the new superpower, the new hegemon, our literal main competition, bro. Let's bring 600,000 of their best and brightest so they can take the tech and knowledge and know-how back to China to compete against us. What the fuck is this? Huh? Are you tired of winning yet? Do you understand? Are you getting it? You are last in line. If there was a bread line, you would be last, and you're getting the crumb. That shit that fell off the other guy's plate as he was given a piece of bread, you know, that little flake? You got the flake. Go fuck yourself. Oh, you mean you're not happy with the flake? You should have voted for Kamala instead then. Would have been worse. You would have got a slightly smaller flake with her. Aren't you happy? Aren't you winning? Hey, give me an award, Daddy. Pin it right here. Fell for it again. I love my flakes. Unfucking believable, bro. It's like we honestly, you must pick a side somehow. You can't have an like independent thought. How about fuck both these parties? How about that? How about I don't support any of them? How about we say we're politically homeless and fuck Democrats and Republicans and anybody that takes money from special interest, from corporate lobbyists, from any fucking lobbyist, any super PAC, any of that shit. How about fuck all of them? It's insane. I've been ranting like, what am I doing here? You guys are making me rage out. It's just the truth, though. It's just the truth, dude. I don't know. This guy bankrupted a casino. Like, people are forgetting that shit. Like, he's some he's like some genius businessman and shit. Like, didn't he bankrupt? I don't know if that's a Democrat talking point, but I think he bankrupted most of the fucking businesses he had. Someone said, I bullshit you not. When COVID hit, they made us train our sister plant in the Philippines to take our jobs. The third parties, they third-partied our role for North America to overseas, and it gave us a severance package. There you go. There you go. If anything, this administration has taught me one thing, is that when they say something, prepare prepare for backtracking or clarification, aka backtracking, and then the watered down policy that comes forth after that. So when you heard of the H1B visa shit, you were like, fuck yeah, this is going to kill H1B. That's it. Everyone's going home. It's over for them. That didn't happen. That wasn't even close to what happened.
Americans can't hold the truth.
Thanks, brother. All right. We've done enough, boys. It's been a pleasure streaming with you guys. And it's almost midnight here. I really do got to get some sleep. I may stream tomorrow. Currently in the middle of the move. Hopefully I finish by October 2nd or 3rd. And then we're going balls to the wall, streaming Monday through Friday, hopefully. So we're just preparing. It's been a while since we've been live and ranting and all that stuff. Hopefully you guys liked it. Let me know if you did. I'll chop this up tomorrow and put it on the main channel without all the super chats and all that stuff. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, guys. And good night for everybody else tuning in from the other side of the world. Or good morning if you're just waking up for some reason. We'll see you on the next one.